Hey guys, what is up? It is Krystal here, the Diabetes Confidence Coach. I hope you guys are doing awesome today. And I'm so excited to talk to you about confidence and acceptance with having diabetes. And I just feel this is so important because it affects every part of our lives. It affects our blood sugars, it affects our health, it affects our relationships, it affects our career, it affects our well-being. It literally affects so much of our lives with type 1 diabetes. And I just feel it isn't talked about a lot. You know, we have a lot to worry about our physical health, but we also have to worry about our mental health as well. So that is what I want to be talking to you guys today about. Again, really excited to spend the time that we have together. And before I get started, I just want to talk a little bit about my backstory and where I have been in my type 1 diabetes journey. I got diagnosed when I was 12 years old, and now I'm 24 years old, so half my life I have had type 1 diabetes. And, you know, growing up with type 1 diabetes is a different journey, you know, because, you know, when you're going to high school, in a regular body, you know, it's hard. You know, you have new friends and your body's changing and you're learning confidence and you're learning about yourself. And then you just throw on a whole autoimmune disease and the game just changes, you know, because you're different. You have to do insulin shots and you have to check your sugar. And, you know, sometimes you're going to get high and sometimes you're going to get low and sweaty and shaky and anxiety. So it is a whole different journey with having diabetes. And for me personally, in the beginning, I really didn't want it to affect my life. So I just lived as if I was normal, you know. Middle school, I was still on MDI, which is multiple daily injections. So I was just on the pen, gave myself injections, and I'd always just go in the bathroom, go in the stall, just because, you know, I didn't want anyone to see that or be like, oh, what are you doing? And, oh, what is that? Because if they asked, what is that? That would bring up the conversation of me being diabetic, and it was always just like awkward and uncomfortable to talk about, and I felt like they were awkward and uncomfortable to talk about it, or maybe they wouldn't like me as much. So I really did everything in my power to avoid telling people I had type 1 diabetes, so I would hide it. And in high school, I went to the insulin pump, which has really helped my diabetes. But again, I was always hiding it. Like, I would go on dates, and this might sound crazy, but I would legit, like, not even just like detach, but I would like take the whole side off and go on a date just so there would be nothing on me. I looked like a normal girl, and I felt like people would like me more without diabetes, you know? So I really hid it at all costs. And when I did that, you know, my sugar would spike up to 380, you know, and then I'd spend the rest of the night trying to come down from that. So it really wasn't good for my health, my physical health, and my mental health, because I was hiding and I was being secretive about who I was, a part of me. Even when I'd check my sugar, I'd go in the bathroom just to check my sugar and then come back and pretend I went to the bathroom, you know? Or even if I went on a date across from someone and I had a pump, I was even embarrassed just to enter carbs in my pump, you know? So I would eat our dinner, go to the bathroom, super quick, I would like bolus for all my carbs, come out of the bathroom, go back on my date, you know? So I really had a tough time with accepting my diabetes and my confidence journey with type 1 diabetes. And I feel that happens with a lot of us, you know, just because we are different, and it's totally okay to be different. But sometimes in our minds, we think that, you know, people aren't gonna like us as much as if we have type 1 diabetes, or, you know, they're gonna feel differently about us, or we might feel like a burden. And that's not the case at all. But I totally understand that's what some of our thoughts are. Like, that's how we think. And one day, I remember I went down to the pool, and, you know, my routine, I never liked to wear a swimsuit with my insulin pump on, just because, you know, I didn't want this box attached to me on my swimsuit. Like, I'm trying to be like sexy and go to the pool looking good, you know? And maybe I thought guys wouldn't want me if they saw this, like, oh, she has like something medical going on. I don't really want to mess with that. You know, those were the thoughts I was having. And so one day I went down to the pool. I did the regular scenario for what I usually do. And I usually put my quick set on my butt under my bottoms, and I would just detach from my pump, you know, just take it off, so that way I would just not be attached to anything. Let me put this back on. And I would just roll my pump up, put it in my bag, and I was good to go. So I did that. I was working on some homework, and I just remember I saw this girl go by, and she was just so confident. Like, she was just like strutting with confidence, and just she caught my eye, and I was like, whoa, look at that girl. And I saw a sensor on her arm, and I saw a quick set like right on her thigh, and she was just strutting like a model. And I was like, wait, she's type 1 diabetic, what the hell? And she has so much confidence, and she's showing it off. And you know, me personally, I really didn't know a lot of type 1 diabetics. I probably met like 3 in my whole life. I know a lot more now because I do embrace my diabetes and I do show it off. So people will come up to me and be like, oh, you're type 1 diabetic, me too. But you know, I hid it for over a whole decade. A whole decade of my life, I literally hid it. My old Instagram, there was not one single picture of me with a pump or a sensor. I literally looked just like a normal girl, you know, because that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be normal, you know. So anyway, so I saw this girl, and I'm like, I have to ask her how she got this confidence with type 1 diabetes. Like, I want to know her secret. Like, I want to be like that. I want to be confident. I want to accept myself, and I want to feel beautiful. So I stopped her, and you know, we were chatting a little bit about her pumps and everything, and I asked her, I'm like, this might be weird, you know, we don't know each other, but how did you gain so much confidence with having type 1 diabetes? And she just kind of took it from a surprise. She's like, wait, what? And she's like, how long have you had type 1 diabetes? And I told her I've had type 1 diabetes for over 10 years now. And she's like, girl, what? And I'm like, yeah, I hide it all the time. Like, I told her, even before you came out of the bathroom, I had my insulin pump in my bag. But, you know, when she came out, I got my insulin pump out of my bag. I put it back on because I wanted to show her, you know, that I had type 1 diabetes too. And she just told me, like, why do you feel that way? She asked me a question, and I told her the truth. And I just said that I don't think people are going to accept me with type 1 diabetes. And she said, well, do you accept yourself? Because if you don't accept yourself, how do you expect other people to accept you? And if you don't love yourself, how do you expect other people to love you? And I was like, damn, that's so true. And she just said, like, people don't care. People don't care about, you know, a pump or a sensor or, you know, tubing on us. Like, they literally don't care at all. And if they do, there are those like few people who care. If they do care, like, let them. You know, I don't want them in my life anyway because they're judgmental and negative people. So if they care, like, thank you, because I don't want you in my life, you know? And she's like, you just have to be you and embrace and accept who you are, because it's not going away, and you're hurting your body, you're hurting your mind, and you're hurting your life by hiding and being secretive about this. And she just literally gave me that realization, and I'm like, I am ready to start my confidence journey with type 1 diabetes. So that is exactly when I started my journey. So I'm so grateful I met Rena, is her name, at the pool, because if I would have never met her, I don't know where I'd be right now. And I don't want to get emotional, but it's true. I would probably still be hiding. I'd still be secretive, going to the bathroom. I'd still be taking off my pump when I'd go on dates. I'd still be taking off my whole medical site just so guys wouldn't see it, so I could be accepted, you know? So this was the beginning of my journey, and I just remember after that I got obsessed. And I went online and I typed in right away in YouTube. I was like, how to get confidence with type 1 diabetes. And I'm like, yes, there's gonna be a ton of great stuff that comes up. You know, and I looked and there was literally nothing on how to be confident with type 1 diabetes. And I was like, wait, what? Like, I'm trying, you know? I looked on Google, like, how to be confident with type 1 diabetes, and there was like one article that came up, and I was like, what? You know, there wasn't a lot on how to accept ourselves and how to be confident, which is a huge part of type 1 diabetes, and I just wondered why it wasn't covered, you know? So that's when I went on the search and finding out the framework for how I can accept my diabetes and how I can be confident with my type 1 diabetes. I read massive amounts of books. I took massive trainings on confidence and acceptance. I learned through Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi and so many different people. I chose this journey for myself to get confident, and I put in my own time into it. So today, I really want to share with you guys my top 10 tips for having extreme confidence and acceptance within your diabetes. And just always remember, it's progression over perfection, because it is going to take, you know, practice of you being open and vocal about your diabetes, you really accepting yourself, and you getting that next level confidence. But it is going to happen for you, and it will happen for you. All you have to do is just be yourself,